What up, gamers? I'm Jason, and today on Dice and Dragons, we are back with our special guest for another episode of Kickstarter Excess or Value. This time, we're taking a look at Chronicles of Drunagor, Age of Darkness. And after these intros, if you'd like to learn more about the likes and dislikes of our special guests, you'll have a link popping up to our Kickstarter Excess or Value playlist where you can take a look at the first episode I did with Ryan, and then the other episodes that feature Rob and Anna Marie, especially those first episodes where we go a lot more into detail about just Kickstarter in general. Right now, we're really going to be focusing on Drunagor, and yes, we know it's not on Kickstarter. Maybe we should change the name to Crowdfunding Excess or Value, but it just lacks a little snap there. So I'm going to stop talking and let our guests introduce themselves.
Hey folks, I'm Ryan of the Card Board Conjecture and What You've Been Playing Wednesdays podcast on the Bridge City Board Gamers Network. I'm 1/3 of the gang here. Norm and Ian are my counterparts. And yeah, you can find our podcasts on all the podcatching software out there. Every Saturday, our Cardboard Conjecture podcast drops, and every Wednesday, our What You've Been Playing Wednesday podcast drops. And Jason, Rob, and Anna Marie are all awesome guests and contributors to that awesome show, as well as a whole bunch of other great Canadian content creators contribute weekly to that.
Hi everyone, I'm Rob, this is
Anna Marie,
and we are the Meeple Dungeon, and we are very active on Twitter for the most part. We also have a YouTube channel where we do some unboxings and reviews. We're kind of still getting that going on a more regular basis, and we are also guests on Ryan's podcast there, the What You've Been Playing Wednesdays podcast every week, and that's kind of our thing right now. So.
And make sure to take a look down below in the video description because you'll find links to all their great content. So make sure to check them out and follow them as well. So we're going to be talking about GameFound's probably biggest, or one of their biggest campaigns so far, Chronicles of Drunagor, Age of Darkness. This is the reprint campaign as well as the new Apocalypse expansion. I'm going to toss over to Ryan as he does such a great job of leading us through the setup of all these pages. He's just the master of it. So,
well, I don't know if I'm the master, but I am a jack of many trades, master of none of them. But yeah, okay. So for folks know that we're Canadian, so I always make sure that I click on the Canadian dollar conversion rate. We've got this campaign, 1.7 million Canadian buckaroos, over 5,000 backers with 11 days left, and they're not slowing down. Like it just seems like every day that I get a notification pops up, something new is being added to the campaign or something like that. And the numbers, like I'm just watching, the numbers are going up right now as I'm speaking.
Yeah.
10 more people just back just as I was talking. That's the power I have apparently of this campaign. And there is a lot of stuff for this being a reprint campaign, because they're giving you all the background stuff as well for people who didn't get on the first Chronicles of, okay, how did you say that? Drunagor?
Chronicles of Drunagor, Age of Darkness. Now, I'll step in here just because I almost backed the original campaign, and this was funding around the same time as a couple of other really big campaigns. You had Aeon's Trespass, Sworn was out around the same time. Also, Heroes and Gods was another one that finished up, I believe, also in 2019. Right. Wasn't as big as the other ones, but it was another big dungeon crawl. So you just had like so many great co-op games all happening at the same time. That seems to happen more often than not these days on Kickstarter. But I remember that was the first time that I'd actually experienced it where I was like, oh my God, I want all of these games. I don't have thousands of dollars to get all of these games all in.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the former Kickstarter junkie in me. I am partially reformed, not fully, partially.
Oh gosh, yeah, no. Well, I'm also partially reformed. Thanks to this series. This series has very humbled me and made me let you look at things a little bit deeper and stuff like that. The thing is, I missed that original campaign as well. I wasn't as keen into this piece, but I'm looking at this, a 40-minute playtime, 1 to 5 players. Ooh, that's got me tickled. 40-minute playtime for I'm assuming a scenario or whatever it is that they're getting you to play through. And average rating right now 9.2 on Board Game Geek.
Yeah.
Ooh, people who do have this are obviously liking it.
And I did take a look online because after this game came out, I looked on Facebook Marketplace and a few other local places to pick up board games. I don't know if because the previous campaign was a lot smaller, if we just didn't have a lot of people that backed it locally, or if everyone locally just loves it. I did not see anything going for sale. And I looked for Solomon Kane at the same time. I had pledged Solomon Kane. I pulled out of that one, not because of any quality related to the campaign, but just one of the lessons I learned about games coming to Kickstarter and them having my money for far too long. Wave 2 that still hasn't delivered. So I'm not regretting my decision, but I kind of would have liked to have the base box. And I found some of those, just not as many at the price that I wanted to pay, but nothing for Drunagor, which arrived at right around the same time.
Yeah, because you mentioned this just before we hit record. This is already went through a campaign and has delivered before some of those other campaigns that you were actually also looking at. So and those other campaigns have not delivered yet. Now they got a second reprint campaign going, which means if they were able to deliver this once, good chance that they're delivering this one again.
Yeah. They also did for their it's Creative Game Labs is the design studio. They also did Arachnos or Arachnos. I'm not sure exactly how it's spelled, but that one has been delivered and already went to retail. So you know that this company has some strategies. They've got the supply chain and everything well developed. And this reprint probably isn't just for Kickstarter. And you can tell by just some of the pledge levels like there is, and I'll let Ryan break that down. We do have that like $100 or so pledge that probably represents what you'll be able to get in retail. I mean, retail games, are trying to keep them all sub 100 or right around there. But when we look at the new Descent that's hitting, especially in Canadian dollars, I think it's like 188 right now, and it's coming out in 2 weeks.
I have that one. It's going to be waiting for me when it delivers. I got my friend at the store. He says, it's coming in 2 weeks. Do you want it? I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
It'll be a game time decision.
For fans of the channel, you know that Julie and I love Descent Second Edition. We want to get it back to the table. It's just, can never find the time with all the new stuff. That game was pre-ordered, but we luckily took advantage of 401 Games, making the mistake of putting it up at the MSRP in US dollars. So I got that for a really good price. I'm not complaining.
Nice. Okay, so let's talk about that. Okay, reprint. Because none of us have the original.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to start.
So good place to start. It says there's a pledge level called Reprint Hero Pledge. It's 144 Canadian. So I've definitely spent way more on other things than that level. And wow, this original core box, it's got sustenance to it. And I don't think as I'm just scrolling through it, it's not excessive for the amount of things that you're getting in here. 41 maps and 2 bridges, 240 plus cards, crud ton of miniatures, adventure book with 18 chapters going on. It's an interactive. Oh, an interactions book. That's different than the adventures book. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Doors, full folding doors, because you never know what to expect. So it's kind of like some sort of like surprise.
Yeah, it
elements to it.
3D scenarios, right? So I'm not sure what that means.
Well, because
the 3D, so for people that may have seen the new Descent Legends in the Dark with the board having multiple terrain levels, it's the same case with Drunagor. You have multiple terrain levels. So a boss could spawn like higher up than you, and there's different terrain as you're playing the game.
Yeah, and they're all held together with these kind of like almost like it is game trays. Game trays solutions here that you can just pop the tiles into, and they're in different levels, and that's actually kind of a neat design choice.
It's really cool.
And like that, there's no having to snap together or glue together different levels of things that I'm assuming that I'm going to have to do with Descent.
Like in those game trays it's still holding half your game under, inside the tray while you put the little cardboard piece on top. So like it's not like you have to empty out the game tray or anything to use it, because everything's hidden underneath the cardboard map that you're laying up on top of the game tray. So it's really clever.
Mm-hmm.
When you said, Ryan, that it was 40 minutes, I hadn't, when I was going through this, I hadn't realized that it was 40 minutes, and that kind of blows me away for everything that it looks like is in the box and all the add-ons and extras and things like that. 40 minutes, that shocked me when you said that.
That's kind of putting it on the same level as Gloomhaven, I think, for us, because we got it down to, we were able to pull off some scenarios in about 40 minutes or so.
Yeah, they're saying that it's about 30 minutes per player, but like they have estimated that once you get going, it's about 40 minutes, which is huge.
Get into the rhythm of it. Yeah. To do a wicked dungeon crawl in 40 minutes, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So you're definitely getting your money's worth, and they're obviously they're getting you with their excellent marketing ploy, saying that this is marked down from you're saving $73 from retail whenever this goes to retail. If you're getting
Canadian Tire approach, where they say this set of pots and pans was regularly $900, but you get it for $120, right? Yeah. So it doesn't. I don't necessarily believe half of that.
Yeah, but at 144 Canadian.
I would believe them just a little bit more, since they are currently in retail. A lot of these Kickstarter companies that put that markdown, are they in retail? Do they even know what it's going to cost in retail, or is it just a pure estimate? So I agree with you, Rob. I take it with a grain of salt, but maybe it's not 73, maybe it's actually 40. We're not going to know, but
I'm sure they stretch it a bit, right? I'm sure they stretch it to make it look that much better.
And it's not saying that the price that it's going for isn't good. It's just the comparison is sometimes funny.
Yeah, you might only be saving $20, not 55 or whatever they're trying to tell you.
Hey, right? I'm a teacher. I cut corners left, right, and center. So if you told me I was saving $2, I'm probably going to go for it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Got to get my Tim Hortons coffee.
Yeah.
No, but this core reprint pledge looks pretty fantastic. And what was the price? It was $145.
So it looks like it's
$150.
Yeah.
Seems Gloomhaven-ish, right? Like.
Yeah, 115 American, so 144 Canadian.
Yeah, so it's kind of comparing that way, and it's looking like it'd be a similar experience.
I think a great way to look at it, because there is actually some app-assisted stuff in the game. How it actually works, I don't know, and I haven't wanted to spoil this by watching a lot of videos, because I'm really interested in this, but you can compare it to the Descent. So this is going to be 144. The Descent is retailing like MSRP, and I'm using one of the numbers from my local game store, one that doesn't offer a lot of discounts because they're well known and they pay a lot for their retail space. So they're selling the new Descent at 188. So this is going essentially probably with shipping the same price as Descent Legends in the Dark. So that goes to show you the value that you're getting. Plus you're getting that stretch goal box as well. So I definitely think that the price point for this is exactly where you'd want it for a retail product.
Yeah,
I don't think
goal box
overpriced at all.
Yeah, that stretch goal box is giving you 12 more heroes to choose from and stuff like that. And they got the you
mean that thing that Asmodee will charge us $50 for 4 times because to get those extra heroes by the end of Descent?
Right? Yeah, because they got the Spoils of War, assuming that's the stretch goal box thing here. 39 American, so it's 49 Canadian, so it's a $50 expansion that's getting thrown into this.
Yeah, I mean,
into this thing. So you're pretty much, if you get this pledge, you're pretty much saving on the stretch goal box.
Yeah, which
plus
is pretty
a little bit.
enticing, honestly. I think that's something worth considering for sure.
Yeah. Then their next pledge level after that one, of course, is just the reprint all in. They didn't just say, hey, reprint here, core box, then reprint plus a couple things. No, they just like, it's either reprint core box, a stretch goal box, or reprint, just get everything.
And it's a lot of stuff. It's
my
lot.
Yeah, and it's, what is it, American? $339 American, so it's $427 Canadian. And what do you got here? Core box. You get
There's like 12 expansions.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 4 like kind of like expansion things, and then you got like hero packs and adventure packs,
the 4
dice sets. Yeah.
To read the game to you.
Yeah, game trays, hero trays. Just kind of like store your heroes in, build your own dungeons type stuff, extra hero. Whew.
And it's $427 Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
so, we talk about excess and value. I think there's definitely some excess in this campaign. That being said, some of us love excess from time to time.
Guilty.
I do definitely think that this is a campaign that, as much as I like a lot of what I see, I think they've taken and copied the CMON model very, very well. And that's quite present in this campaign.
Yeah. But what I do like is that you can just click on that reprint hero pledge, the core box pledge, and then you can just go down to add-ons and just add on whatever you wanted. That's kind of like what I really like about GameFound, is how they set up their game pages.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because GameFound before was just kind of it was really used as the pledge manager as for certain projects. And so I really like the fact that maybe I don't want an extra dice set. I've got tons of dice lying around my house. Unless if it's really special custom dice. Is it special custom dice?
Oh, yes. I was looking at that because those are special Apocalypse dice for the Apocalypse expansion. And they're all blinged out, like extra level out. I mean, it's not... I don't know. I know, Ryan, you try to listen to the Secret Cabal. I don't know if you listen to them at all, Rob and Anna Marie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that like dice that's like made from like chiseled stone that one of their members bought, I think, for like $1,000 or at least $1,000 in Canadian money and our funny money.
Yep.
It's special dice.
Yeah, but I like the fact that I could just come in here and I could click on a couple things that maybe catch my interest, like this Rise of the Undead Dragon expansion that has that awesome dragon miniature. Oh my goodness, baby.
It's a ruler tall, man.
Yeah, it's like 25.5 centimeters.
It's unreal.
And I think you nailed, like, you really hit the nail on the head here, Ryan, because when you're looking at the Age of Darkness core box, it's 109.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're interested in this game, whether you're gonna have to pay shipping or not, getting the hero pledge, the reprint with the stretch goals just seems like it's such a good deal. Because buying the box by itself, if you're getting an idea of what the MSRP is, maybe even a little bit higher, you're looking at paying $130 maybe. Well, sorry, it's $109 US. I'm not talking Canadian. I haven't swapped mine over yet. Just a lot of value in that core box.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Sorry, that core reprint pledge.
Especially if you're looking to get like the core pledge plus the new one, right? Plus not the new one, but the expansion. So then you've got the 120 for the expansion plus the 144 for the core and that like for that hero pledge. That in itself, I think, would be a good amount. And then, like you said, if you wanted to get those add-ons and get some of the game trays or things or the dice or whatever. Keeping that hero pledge at a decent price still makes it viable for you to get the expansion, like the new one that's coming out, which is nice.
The Apocalypse expansion here,
Yeah, this Apocalypse expansion looks pretty cool because it's adding just a whole brand new adventure
Yes.
On top of everything.
I think it said something like 70 hours of new content of gameplay time. So,
and it's 120 Canadian for it alone.
Yeah.
Right.
If it's another core box, essentially, then
It's another.
it makes sense. And
Yeah,
for sure.
but you can't play this without the
yeah.
actual core box.
and I think that makes sense when you're looking at what you need to play the game, because if you don't have like essentially the game trays, and that's
Right.
probably the biggest difference there. I mean, there's slight price difference. They could probably make the game separate, but they'd have to do another run of game trays and figure out how to fit them in the box.
Yeah.
But so I think that's probably the biggest component, and some of the other smaller tokens and things like that you're just not getting.
Yeah, just glancing through it for $120, I think it looks, all things equally, I think you're getting the same bang for your buck for the 120 on this expansion as you are for the 145 for the core box. Like the core box has more stuff and it's more expensive, but it seems to be hitting that same kind of zone of price point versus what's in the box.
And what I find really interesting is because we always talk about value on this, and a couple of times, like on the last episodes, like, we talked about the all-in and versus that like base pledge. And I think the best example is probably Wild Descent, where like no one was backing that base pledge. Like there was a few people. If you look at this one, when you've got the reprint hero pledge, it's been pledged 1,561 times, and the all-in pledge is 1,582 times. I cannot remember the last time I've seen a campaign where the all-in and the core was so close, because they clearly are doing something right with the core for people that know, like, hey, I don't need all this extra stuff. So, and I do think that there's a portion of those that are also that back the core are probably also backing, as you said, the new content, the Apocalypse Adventures pledge, because they just want the big aspects of the game. And they've definitely got a nice setup there. I would like to see, though, it'd be nice to have something that combines the two of them. That was maybe a little more discounted.
A slight discount, because currently it'd be about 200 and what are we at? $80? Or
40 and 1.
262, about 270-ish.
70, yeah. So
Canadian.
It'd have been nice to see that package come in at, say, 249, right, or something for both of them.
Well, what I heard, and I don't know if this is true, but supposedly they're supposed to be reworking a few pledges for a big push.
Oh yeah,
the end.
yeah. We're
full reprint all in. Yeah, they're all in everything.
Something big. There's gonna be something big in that last couple days. That's a good CMON model thing to do. It's just like, hey, wait, here is the epic, massive Mashugana. If I'm gonna go Secret Cabalish here on us, get the big old pledge. Which is funny here, because we said 1,500 times for the core box pledge, 1,500 times for the reprint all in type of thing. Now, if you combine those two numbers together and you look at the new content Apocalypse Adventures, it's 3,200 times.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
So it's like, I'm going to get the hero pledge and I'm going to get the new stuff, or I'm going to go all in on the old stuff and get the new stuff.
Yeah,
the numbers would suggest that that's what people are doing here.
People are going one way or the other, yeah.
And I think it really bodes well, having not backed the last game, missed it, or for whatever reason, that it's doing so well as a reprint.
Mm-hmm.
It's
people
not,
aren't ignoring it, right?
They didn't just meet their pledge, quote, what they wanted to get. They actually, they're doing so well and have, they've sold so many already that it just goes to show, I think, that the base game is good. It worked well. People are coming back for more. They're coming to get the full, the expansion and get new stuff. And so I think that's just, it speaks well for the game itself.
And the Apocalypse expansion is selling perfectly, right? So everybody that's buying one of the reprints is also getting the Apocalypse. So it's, they're doing something right here for sure. for sure.
So let's talk about the Apocalypse expansion, because we kind of glossed over that when we got into the value conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let Ryan get away with the sweet dulcet tones.
So I've got here, it is the Apocalypse expansion. We kind of glossed over it, like you said, 95 American, 120 Canadian for just this new content, Apocalypse Adventures. You are getting 16 new chapters in an adventure book. A deeper narrative is what they're kind of going for as their thing. You get a whole bunch of new monsters here. Looks like about 5 new monster sets type of thing here. New monster AI. So they're obviously kind of doing some tweaking with how the monsters are working. There's new gear, new adventure stuff, learning new skills, and a whole bunch of they're adding about 50% more map tiles than to what the original base box was. They're getting 20 new maps, streamlined darkness rules, new doors to explore, new boss fights.
I think that the darkness rules were a little convoluted or something in the original version, so they streamlined it and made it simpler and better, apparently. Like I don't know what that aspect of the game is, but apparently it's much better with this.
Everything that I've read with regards to this is that they're taking a lot of the feedback, they're improving it, and they're also looking to improve a lot of that stuff in the reprint as well, so that you're just going to get a better game this time around, which is something that I always like to see.
Yeah,
absolutely. I love seeing that.
Now, in this Apocalypse pledge, the bosses that you're fighting are standees.
Yes, and I wanted to nail this because this is one of those things where we talk about excess or value. Like, this sucks. Like, I hate this.
This hits FOMO. This hits FOMO hard.
I was looking at this and I actually couldn't believe it. I was looking at it and I was like, this couldn't possibly be standees. This has got to be some sort of mistake, or like, I wasn't sure if they just maybe didn't have the models ready or something, but no, they're full on standees.
Yeah, no, you can go under add-ons, new content, and then there's the Apocalypse, the Four Horsemen, and it's 111 Canadian dollars for the miniatures of the Four Horsemen. So $111 for 4 gigantic. They're not minis.
Yeah,
these
things are not minis.
So I understand that, and this is why I find it a little bit unforgivable that they went standees, because, and this is really a sticking point with me in the campaign. Why don't you have some scaled down, smaller miniatures? Why don't you have use different art slightly and be you always show them in this badass deluxe art, right? And that's what you're paying for that upgraded box. But why don't you give me a mini to go with everything else? Because it just feels like they didn't have a good option for it, and they decided to just take the path of least resistance. Just take the standees, you're fine, or spend an extra bunch of money for these awesome looking miniatures. And hey, I mean, Simon did it with Cthulhu Death May Die, and I fell for it. I got the giant Cthulhu, and he does look awesome, and I've had a lot of fun with it so far, so I'm not complaining. But it sucks when it's done this way. It's not like, here's our mini, here's our mini, but it's a deluxe box. You want this thing, So why don't you upgrade this smaller thing to this big thing?
Yeah.
They're kind of forcing you, right? They're forcing me. When I read this and look at this, there's no way. Okay, let's pretend I'm backing this. Full steam ahead, I'm backing this. There's no chance that I'm getting all this game with these 4 cardboard standees. I just couldn't do it, so they're gonna get my money if that was what I was gonna do. I couldn't have this sitting on the board with this white skinny background painting against these badass minis that are, I just can't do it.
It is also a deterrent for getting it. And I wonder if that might be something they're doing with that big bad release we're potentially expecting, right? Where they combine it together and maybe take a bit off, or, something like that.
It just annoys me that it's.
It's entirely possible because we were talking about how well the campaign is doing. This is one of the few times that I've seen it happen where you have all these crazy pledge levels, and I don't remember what campaign did it, where they finally put out the all-in pledge and you were saving money. It's like they put out all this stuff and then they're like, here's the all-in. Because they got to that point where they started hitting those economies of scale. So that's entirely possible. They're going to look at all this stuff that we can't see, like how many people pledge this add-on, and then get those economies of scale out and really give it back to the customers. I mean, with the giant Cthulhu's, Simon was saying that it was going to take them about 2 years to deliver them. And then because they got so many of them ordered, they sent them all out at once.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. Oh, so so we're in agreement here. This one hits. This one's hard. This one hits hard.
This is a bit of a miss. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big miss. There should be some minis in the box that represent these characters. You could even have a mini and then like a big standee if you wanted a bigger version of it, or you could make it so like the guy like kind of transforms and gets bigger, so someone can be like, okay, well, I want to have a better representation of the space. I can use the standee. I don't mind things like that, but not having a mini as an option just pisses me off.
Yeah, I agree. It's just like, they know what they're doing here, right? They're not unaware of what's going on.
That person got an A in marketing.
Yes.
In their marketing courses, they definitely got an A. They knew what they were doing.
So you know what? Let's pretend he probably got hired from Simon after he got his degree in FOMO exploitation.
That has to be a thing now, right? Like you just take that one class. It's probably like a weekend course, and it's like we just talk about FOMO and how you have to have FOMO in your marketing campaigns, or else you ain't gonna make it in with the big boys.
Yeah. But this is so blatant. It's harsh.
It's like that game. I can't remember which one it was that might have been the first one where they had the heroes. The hero was like a big
it was The Witcher?
Yeah, The Witcher.
Right? Just the base pledge where you had The Witcher was a standee, and then the bad guys were The Witcher was a mini, and then the bad guys were standees. Yeah. And it's like that would not scale well. Like that wouldn't feel realistic playing that.
It sucks you right out of the game.
And that's kind of similar to this, right? Where you've got all these minis from the base, and then
in that episode I've said it before. I could go all standees. If everything was standees, I'd be fine, and I can get into that. Yeah. But mixing and matching just doesn't work for me.
No, especially when it was that way, right?
Yeah,
where the big bad guys are
just this cardboard thing, right? Yeah.
And
if everything was equal, I'm fine with it. But when they're not equal, no go.
I actually prefer standees in some cases.
Yeah.
Especially with acrylic standees now, which Japan Anime Games has done very well. And we're talking a little bit off camera about one of the games like Nemesis, where they did all like plastic and acrylic standees. It looks great. And you can get some more detail and art and color, and it looks colorful on my table. I don't have to paint anything. When people ask me why I don't paint anything, I go, because I like buying games and playing games. I don't have time to paint. If I painted everything, that's all I'd ever do. Maybe when I'm retired, but my hand probably won't work then, so it's not going to happen.
Like you said, to be fair, standees have come a long way.
We were talking. Those acrylic standees are amazeballs. They're fantastic. I want those things in my games now.
Yeah.
I really, really, really wish. Because again, I'm the same boat as Jason. Ain't nobody got time to paint these minis.
They take a long time. Yeah. Even for simple ones. And
and we got kids.
Right?
We got kids.
One of the things I really like about like Renegade games, when they did Power Rangers, they made all the Rangers colored, and I'm like, I don't have to paint them, they're colored, because otherwise it'd be like I could not have a team of gray Rangers like that.
No.
It just drive me nuts. So little things like that can go a real long way in terms of enhancing that gameplay experience.
Yeah, and this one's really tugging at. It's not just tugging at the heartstrings, but it's also tugging at the wallet, because 111 Canadian dollars for just a box of 4 gigantic miniatures Like that's a couple games for somebody else.
Right?
Yeah.
But at the same rate, like you said, I don't think I could do this without them.
Yeah.
So it's like, what? I don't know where to go here, right? Like, I don't think I could get this game without those 4 insane doorstop minis.
I think this also is a great point to talk about value. How much is your game going to be worth without those 4 minis?
Right? I don't think
like we're talking about the resale market afterwards.
Yeah,
exactly.
You went to try and sell it. Like, is someone gonna be, oh, you got the standees? Like, I'll go find another copy of this, right? Like,
I think that's one of the things that we have to think about as gamers. And I've been thinking about it more and more. When I buy a game, it's either getting sold very quickly because I play it, it's okay, and I don't know when I'm going to play it again. So that's become the new rule in the household. If I cannot realistically figure out when I'm going to want to play it again, the game goes on Marketplace or Kijiji and it goes out the door. Just because it's, I had my fun. And let's be honest, if you buy a game for $40 and then you sell it for between $20 to $30, I mean, it's like you went out to the movies. You got a couple hours of fun and then it's gone. So it's okay.
Yeah. I wish I could do that. I cannot.
Yeah. We can appreciate what you're saying and exactly what you do, but we have a major issue here with that. I am a collector of not just board games, but like I'm a sports memorabilia collector ever since I was a kid. And
I used to collect pencils, so I'm also a collector.
Yeah, but we're both collectors, and it's really hard to get rid of any game. I mean, if something's really not to our liking, we'll trade usually with somebody or something, but like,
it's tough. Because then it'll be like 10 years down the road, and I'm like, I really want to play that game. And then it's out of print, and I can't get it. And I'm like, dang it, why did I do that? I would just have that.
So it was really hard for me until I sold Battlestar Galactica. Until I sold that game. But to give you a good idea, like it got to the point where I hadn't played it in so long. It literally been unplayed in it was over a decade. We're getting 15 years. And I looked at the value of the game and it was like, I literally haven't played this.
That's fair. It's so fair. Totally I wish I could.
Once I sold Battlestar Galactica and it paid for like 3 Kickstarters because I sold it, I was like, I think I can sell games now.
Yeah.
It just
you got that first little taste. It's like I'm freed. It's not as horrible as I once imagined it. Yeah, we talk about this in my math class with my grade 12s. I call it cost analysis. Essentially, is all it is, and you just weigh the value of something. How much did that cost you to own over the course of your career? Like, did you make money? Did you lose money? You bought it for $40, but you sold it for $20. It only cost you $20 in the long run after it all. Or I bought it for $40, I sold it for $70. Oh heck, I just funded something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's hard. I know the psychology behind it. Yeah. I am also a collector of things. Like I was huge. Like I collect like card games. Like I do collect card games. Like I've got my complete collection of L5R. I don't know if I'll ever get rid of it. It's all sitting there. I got my complete. I still got got Magic the Gathering cards just sitting around. I got Star Wars Destiny. I got lots of Star Wars Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
I have my Marvel cards from 1990, including like the holograms. Like I don't even know. Yeah, I think I kind of missed the boat. I think that like peaked and dropped. So I'm kind of like, but like
just wait.
Come back around.
Well, Marvel's not like huge, so I'm kind of wondering if it hasn't like shot back up the charts there, having those old school cards. But I know what you're feeling, but I really found that like the best way to do it This is a little off topic, everyone. So from the, I think it plays directly into excess or value. It's the only way you can get it done really easily is after you play the game and you're sitting there and it's done. You've got like 4 or 5 plays in and you're like, is this going to hit the table again in a year? And if the answer is like, it's okay, then it's a lot easier to get it to. And that's how we've started approaching things, because there's too much stuff that stayed for too long.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and we're also 3 people here that, if you look behind us, we have a gigantic stacks of games. Not everybody's in the same boat as us. Their collections are much smaller.
Yeah.
And I have an appreciation for those folks nowadays, because we were talking off camera and just the time it takes to play through these things. Like, I've organized my shelves back here. The ones that are front facing are the ones that I want to play like right now. Like I'll pull these off at any time. And then when I do play them, they're going to get switched to the games. There's games behind those ones. They're going to get switched out. Not everybody's like that. So like, somebody's going to look at this. I've already forgot what we're talking about here. Chronicles of Drunagor. This might be the only game in their collection at the beginning here.
Yeah.
And this is a great place to jump into, like one of these dungeon crawling things, because there's tons of stuff here.
On that point, I mean, if anyone's even thinking that dungeon crawls are cool and want a place to jump in, this looks like a great spot, like you just said. Like, if you want to take a chance on something.
If you don't have a dungeon crawler in your collection.
Yeah. I'd go ahead first.
This looks fantastic. Get that. Just go into that. Maybe that core thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, this is a great.
Because if they've already shown that they're going to do a reprint of the core with an expansion, who's not to say that that this is a team in the back of their minds? They have another expansion already planned for next year.
Yeah.
They can just kind of just revisit this thing again. I don't know. That seems like they could have a good track record for that.
Yeah.
So why don't we deep dive the excess and the value here? And I think that's a good time to go take a look at the add-ons. And I mean, we already ripped apart the Apocalypse of 4 Horsemen as being completely excess. What does everyone think about this new content, the Hero Pack 1, as being something that is excessive or brings some value to the game?
So what we got here? We got 35 American, 44 Canadian,
45 Canadian,
and you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 new heroes and 4 new classes to kind of mix in with your current.
That seems
current stuff.
Kind of all right to me. I think that there's value there. If you eight new heroes for $45.
I guess that's one if you're playing a lot, right?
Yeah,
like if you think you're going to be playing this a lot and you'll cycle through the characters, then,
Like when you... Oh, my dog's losing his mind.
When he thinks it's a good deal.
When you think about any LCG, like Marvel Champions, right? When you buy the new character for $15, $20, these are considerably less than that per character. So I don't see a big issue with that. If this is something you're interested in, I don't see a huge issue.
Yeah, I don't think this represents excess or value. This feels very much like a pure retail price for the content. Like I have a full set of Descent 2nd edition, like everything for the game. That cost a pretty penny, but this box is similar to that, where you'd buy like 4 heroes, 4 monsters, like between $40 to $50. That's what it is. So it's not a great value, but the one thing that I will say is that if you've ever bought a CMON game, especially with all the exclusives, are you ever going to touch these heroes? And I think the reality of it is even if you're playing this game a lot, you have like 4 new heroes, or there's the stretch goal heroes, these heroes. Unless you really want to be a completionist, there's no need to buy these heroes. I think you can buy them in retail later on, provided that they're coming to retail. They're not listed as a crowdfunding exclusive. So while I think it's a solid product, I definitely think that having this as part of this campaign in particular, I think, as a part of a reprint campaign, feels a little bit on the excessive side.
It might, like you said, it might be better suited.
Line, it's like here.
Yeah, it might be better suited as a straight up retail. If you really dig this game and you're done with the characters that you got and you want to go grab a couple more or grab, if it's a whole pack, you go grab that pack and do it for $50. I think that seems reasonable.
Yeah,
but
we
play the game and you may never touch them. Yeah, it's a tough call.
We've nailed it. It's going to be how many times are you going to play through this thing?
Yeah.
And at a 70-hour, 60-hour campaigns, like, are you just going to play the first few scenarios with different heroes over and over again, or are you going to play through the complete campaign and then play through the complete campaign again with a new set of heroes? I'm on board with that. I think the value is good for them, but the practicality that if you're ever actually going to play with these things is, at least I think for us, is be very small. So you get the 8 heroes for $44. That's pretty cool. You're probably never going to play them.
Actually, you bring up a great point, like as I mentioned, but I like where you're going with this, Ryan. And I just wanted to ask everyone questions. How many of your games that you have that have multiple campaigns have you actually can say that you finished everything for that game?
1.
0.
Sorry. No, unless if we're counting Sleeping Gods, 2. I completed Gloomhaven and I completed Sleeping Gods once.
I can say I can get away with 2 because even then, the second one is probably not necessarily all the campaign, but all that I can play. I've completed everything for Imperial Assault in the app, and we've completed everything for Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth. And to give you an idea, Lord of the Rings Journeys to Middle-earth is probably our most played game with 65 plays.
Wow.
And that's to cover everything. And there's a new campaign coming out, and I'm going to get it. I'm going to play through it. But the only reason why we do it is because we get it, and we play through it, and then it's done. So you got to think about that, though. If you're playing games in that way, one of those heroes are going to come out. Those heroes will be like your third or fourth playthrough, or if you're just going to play a lot of one-offs with people. Now, that being said, we could be entirely wrong if that 40-minute playtime becomes realistic with the full 5-player count and you can play 2 or 3 scenarios in a game night, then you're going to get a lot of value and just forget everything that we've said because we have not played the game. So
you brought back to the if you can get it down to that quicker playing time for this style of game. Yeah, you can probably churn out those campaigns a little bit quicker than, say, a Gloomhaven that has the 99 scenario book and you're going to play 60 of them. And you have to, I don't know. I haven't read anything about the campaign. If you fail a mission, you have to redo it type of thing. But that was the big thing in Gloomhaven. You couldn't go on if you kept failing and you kept failing and you kept failing.
We would fail once and then maybe replay it once. Be like, we passed this one.
We're
not going to play it 3
and
or 4
the
times.
door fell over and we were able to walk through. And,
The joys of co-op games. No one knows but you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's Isaac Childress, right?
Yeah.
He even said, he was just like, I want you guys to have fun. I don't care. I house rule things.
Yeah. We were
Yep.
listening to him at the Shucks when they were announcing a lot of the Jaws of the Lion stuff. And it was pretty cool. He's like, I totally house rule things. And it's just like, okay, all right. I don't feel so bad. Because he had people, putting up their hands.
Like, be real. How many?
Yeah.
Oh, look, one of the last cooperative campaigns. Actually, I can add 3 because we played all of Zombicide 2nd edition Washington ZC. So one of the 2 campaigns. So maybe that's 2.5. In any case,
we would be done Gloomhaven by now because the 2 brothers that we've been playing it with, we played a lot. We were playing it 2-3 times a week forever. And then those guys, their job sent them here and there and left and right. And so things have been a little chaotic over the last year with that. So it's been kind of sitting waiting, but we would have been done it long ago if that was the case. But
well, we one of the biggest things that Julie and I house ruled, we were playing Zombicide 2nd Edition, and we were literally about to win, and we drew the card that spawned an abomination in front of us. It was the one card to slow us down. It wasn't that we couldn't win. I was like, we're so tough. It was just like we could run around the board and have to kite the abomination. And I'm like, it's just going to take another hour. I was like, it's like we won. Like, forget it. Like, I just put the abomination back and drew a different card. We murdered everything and just walked out. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't. And
you had a ton of fun doing it.
Yeah.
That's the thing about co-ops that I love, is that when you get that one card that just like ruins the game, it's the chances are like so slim, but you pull that up, you can just be like, yeah, whatever. This never happened, and we can.
Yep.
Yeah.
That happens so much in Arkham Horror for me. Like, that was not what happened. Oh, that was so much better. Okay, good. Or the chaos tokens.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get back on topic.
The next one we haven't talked about yet is the Apocalypse companions and furnitures, and they advertise it as a complete cosmetic add-on. The complete cosmetics.
Yeah.
I gotta admit though, this is excessive.
Oh yeah.
But for a game that focuses a lot on table presence, I absolutely love this. And a lot of it has to do with the price point. So it's definitely an excess, but it's not overpriced for what you're getting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for that price, for $36, $37 to have a whole bunch of barrels and bookshelves
I was gonna say no chance. Like, I'm not gonna. I don't need all of that stuff in there.
No, because usually this would be $60.
Yeah,
or something.
but for $36, and then a lot of those, like the barrels and the bookshelves, those would be great in other games too, that you could just like put up and multi-use. Maybe not so much the other like the monsters and things, but I can see a lot of places where.
But then I'm just going to my friendly local game store, going to the D&D section, and just gonna go buy like the bulk. The bulk barrels and the bulk bookshelves and the bulk.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
From them, because my game shop right now, he's overrun with these Dungeons and Dragons miniatures. He's got this whole bin that everything's $1 right now. So I can just go right there. You can just go to your game shop if they're overhauling their.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, this is way excess.
I agree.
They look nice. Like the renders look nice.
Yeah, they look good.
It's excess, but it's reasonably priced excess. You're not going to feel like you're getting taken for a ride on this. This is one of those things where if you want to play the game a lot, it's going to look pretty on your table.
Oh, yeah. Just like that dice set. Just like that.
Well, actually, I want to talk about this because I think this is pure excess. This is everything that we talk about, what you do not want to do.
Oh my gosh. But 100%. They look 100% badass cool, but I can't ever see myself actually owning these things.
This is five dice.
It's $7 a die. That's exactly what it is. It's $35 US. It's $7 a die for these Apocalypse dice. They're D20s. And that's all they are. There's nothing special about them except what's inside.
Well, you do get a tin box that had to be highlighted here. Tin box with a foam inside.
How could you is there even anything on them? Is there any purpose for them?
No, they're just D20s. You're paying for what's inside the dice.
Oh yeah, you can see the numbers there.
Those would be hard to read.
Yeah, they don't look easy to read. Maybe on
the table they're different. And it's just the light, I think, is shining right on.
Well, it's all renders. I don't think it's an actual die that we're looking at.
Yep. Nope.
No, not a chance. What was it?
I'm the die guy. Like, you should see my Alter Quest dice. Like, I've got so many of those, and I keep saying, people keep asking me to buy some because they're hard to get. But
again, go to your friendly local game store to the dice section.
Oh no, Alter Quests are they're specific dice because you need
for that. yeah. For this, ugh.
Yeah, no, I agree. Just go get some D20s. Like, that's all you need. You can literally get colored D20s that like represent them. You can spend like a few dollars. It's not worth it. Like, I like the dice. If those were $15, I'd be all in. $15 for pretty dice, like $3 a die, but $7 a die. Like, no.
No way.
At least we know they have a section on here, their miniature comparison, since they have already done some stuff.
Yeah.
Their actual productions compared to their renders look pretty good for their quality of miniature that they've that they're able to produce here. So there is some value in the miniatures and the detail that they are able to get out of here.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Just how big they are. That's crazy.
Oh, I just want that dragon. Oh my goodness.
Give me an add-on section just for the dragon.
I'd just pay $30 just to have that sit on my shelf behind me. So awesome.
And somebody else paint it for me.
Yeah.
And we've got the initiative coin marker, which actually I think is pretty cool because they're giving it to the first 5,000 backers.
Oh, right. That's cool, yeah. And for $7, it's pretty badass, you know. Mm-hmm. I'd probably do it.
Yeah, and there's another one of those. Let's just get a whole bunch of pledges really early because there's that one thing that only the first few people can get. Yeah. And then afterwards, everybody else has to pay for. Again, that's a great FOMO marketing.
But what I like about this is that they're giving it to a lot of backers.
They are given to a lot of backers.
All the first 5,037 backers. Like, that's a lot of people. So you can tell that the cutoff for that was like probably only, a few days ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even. It's like it's 5,291 backers. So like right now, only 200 people need to add that. So
yeah, there's because it's much better than what was it, the Awakened Realms thing, where it was like the 24-hour.
I hate those.
It was the day one backer bonus type of thing. Yeah, I'm with you, because if I'm not the one there that's sitting there on day one, or I've forgotten about it and I've missed out on something and now I have to pay for it, this is a much better way.
Yeah,
I do really like that. I really do like that. The first 5,000. Put a number on the number of backers.
Yep.
Because then you'll be like me. You don't forget about it.
I think it's good. And let's take a look at some of them. We're going to do this all quickly. So let's just talk about what we see from the reprint stuff that's available. You can get the foreteller expansion. Personally, I think foreteller is excessive. If it's included, it's cool. I like that they include it in the full reprint, but I don't have time to listen to someone read me my damn board game. I can read faster than the guy's going to read to me. I love audiobooks though, so maybe it's really cool. And I've never used foreteller, but I definitely think it's on the excessive side. That being said, as they're trying to bring these more cinematic experiences into board games, I do appreciate what they're trying to do, but it's still just not.
Yeah. Okay. Sometimes they bring in like pretty decent voice actors to do this stuff too, right? So it can actually be pretty nice, but then it can also be god awful. So
so is that the difference? So like, I don't have foreteller. I don't have any games that use foreteller, but I do have they have just the companion app for Tainted Grail. Yeah. They have just a companion app that was free, and they have they have all the narration of all the passages.
Yeah.
It's not the greatest quality.
Free. Now we're talking,
yeah, it's not the greatest quality. And there have been times where I just nope, I'm not listening to that because holy crap, this lady's voice is driving me absolutely bonkers type of thing. But why is it that you have to use foreteller?
Foreteller does it professionally.
It's all professional.
It's voice actors, and they do it for multiple different things. So they're trying to create there's a couple of games I know of that use foreteller. I'm drawing a blank on some of the other ones. There was a cooperative game. It started with an I, and it was for 1 to 2 players. It's something like the Isengard or something like that. It was like a Frost, they were used foreteller, and it was a big part of their thing. And it was supposed to all be well voice acted with different voices. It was just part of the cinematic experience.
Oh yeah.
I think one thing that we can all say, we're all parents here. Ain't got time for that, man. Like, get me my game. Let me play. If I can read faster, I'm going to read faster because you know what? As soon as I get this game done, there's something else I want to do.
Okay, so you can get your Gloomhaven experience on Foreteller. You can get Madara can be on as Foreteller. Actually, it's Act 1. It's free right now. You don't actually have to pay for it on Foreteller. Above and Below. Are you talking about Above and Below by Red Raven Games is on Foreteller. So, okay. So it's just professional. I don't need that.
I think that's excess. We already talked about the core box. If you're backing just the core box, like you're an idiot. Like, try not to be like rude, but you're an idiot. Just spend the extra like $10 and get that $40 box that they have at the end there, the Spoils of War that you can see, and add that right in, because otherwise, like you're not using your money to not spending your money wisely.
Yeah. And then they got the reprints here. They got like the Rise of the Undead Dragon, get your Desert of Hellscar, the Ruin of
just
Lucanor.
Random experiences, scenarios. Each one.
Let's take a look at those adventure packs quickly. I mean, I'll look at we'll let Rob look at the dragon, because dragon, that's all Rob.
Okay, the adventure packs. The one I looked at was the Ruin of Lucanor, and it's got a couple new map tiles. It's got a very smaller adventure book with 3 new chapters to play through, and the finale of the main storyline. So it's kind of like an alternate path you can take, maybe, and some new doors that you can open up. That looks like what an adventure pack. Shadow World adventure pack looks much as the same thing. Yeah, it's another 3 new chapter and finale to the main storyline.
The Undead Dragon looks, it's a boss, right? He's this boss dragon. So looks like you get a couple, 1, 2, 3 new characters, some treasure chest pieces, 16 new maps, adventure book.
More doors.
Some more doors. But what is this? This is like $45. Yeah, 45. I mean, it looks cool, but
I think all of them in themselves are not bad. It's just that
I don't know if I'd want all of them.
Yeah.
Like you said too, are we going to actually play through all of it and use all the extra things that you buy?
I think it's one of those things where I like the value in terms of the pricing. It's got a good pricing versus similarly priced items that you can get like in retail.
Yeah.
So I mean, a good example I think is if you're taking a look at let's ignore the ones with the bigger miniatures, but like the Ruins of Lucanor and Shadow World Adventure Pack, they're $25. I mean, if you look at Journeys in Middle Earth, their pack for the few miniatures plus the game, like the digital expansion, comes about to be about that same price. By the way, you're getting in, 2 of those things are actually for previous campaigns, so they're priced right. But if you need them or not, I don't know. I like the fact that they're small, though. Like, one of the things that I really like is that they're 3 missions. So if you complete a main box, you can put it away and be like, oh yeah, let's play, and you can probably get it done. I know if there's 40-minute or like an hour or so playtime, if you're going through this with a lot of your friends during game night, you could move away from Drunagor for a few months and be like, oh, hey, you know what, guys, let's take this out. Let's play this adventure pack. So you play the adventure pack, and then it's done. You move on.
Yeah.
Oh, you play this other one. So I think there's some value there, but
it depends on the person. And
3 new chapters. What kind of introduced me is it says 3 new chapters and the finale of the main storyline, and it says adding 10 plus hours of gameplay.
Do you not get the finale if you don't get that extra pack?
that was my thing. Like, or is there multiple endings? Like, if I buy this adventure pack, then there's like a different ending to the main storyline.
Like you finish the game, but then is it finished? I guess if you want to find out more, buy this pack, kind of thing. I don't know.
Well, that is a pure Simon tactic because you can't see it, but maybe I'll bring him down as there's giant Cthulhu up over here. And the only way you get the finale to Death May Die is in Riley Rising, which is the giant Cthulhu as your board. And that's part of the reason why I bought him. But he also looks awesome in my game room. So I can't.
Yeah.
And that game is really good. If that game was not as good as it was, I'd be really pissed off that I owned them. But it is that good, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah, because then the other adventure pack says the exact same thing: 3 new chapters and the finale to the main storyline.
Okay, so it's adding just a little bit extra.
Or maybe it is just you get to choose your own ending depending on what hero pack you get.
What did you go with? What adventure pack did you get?
Well, it'll be interesting to see. I'd love more details on that. I think one thing that we can basically say, like, what is overall a well-run and well-constructed campaign. Mm-hmm. These packs, I feel like they just copied and pasted stuff from the original campaign, and they probably needed a little bit more clarification.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just for me, these would be great at retail. If I had this game and I had all the big expansion and I was done with it, and then next year I was like, oh man, there's a cool looking expansion for that game. Maybe I'll pick that up and play it, right? I don't think I'd want them all out the bat just because we know who we are and we'll probably not get to them, but it'd be cool to just be able to grab one off the shelf one day and get back into it.
I think you're dead on. And I really feel like this game is built for retail. And that's fascinating to me because you look at Simon games, like look at Bloodborne, the board game. That game was not built for retail. That was the most giant FOMO thing that, well, maybe not the most. I think Marvel United X-Men was the biggest FOMO thing that.
Guilty, yeah.
Marvel United was pretty bad, but United X-Men was like even worse.
Yeah. So, and let's add on to this because we can't talk about these things nowadays without talking about shipping prices.
I know.
Yeah. Well, we also had the monster pack and the extra.
Oh, right.
Heroes. So I think the monster pack and the extra heroes, I mean, they're retail price. I don't see anything like great about them. I don't see anything bad about them. Although Demon Lord looks pretty damn cool. So I have to admit the sculpt.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. Again, just the retail thing. You'd see this sitting on the shelf and like, oh, that guy looks cool, or that one looks neat. I'm going to grab that one. But to just get them all, I don't know.
Yeah. And then you've got the build your own dungeon game Trayz, which I think is a little bit of access because, especially for gamers like ourselves, who's got time to build your own dungeon?
No.
Yeah.
No. Plus my creative brain, like I'm a math teacher, my creative brain doesn't work. I can't create things on my own. So for me, I don't know how to create anything you have to make yourself type of thing. It's not for me.
Note to self, if a game involves math, don't play Ryan.
Oh man. Like I got introduced to Power Grid and I was in my heyday. I was absolutely loving it. Oh gosh. Don't blame me, but I'm horrible at auctions though. So it all balanced out.
Yeah.
And then you've got the hero trays though.
The hero trays though look pretty good. If I can just I like things that allow me to organize all my bits and pieces.
Yeah, and $30 seems pretty much on point.
I think it's on point, but let's be realistic. It's excessive. I really wish that more companies did better hero boards. Because that's just something I think that like, it's just a weakness across the board. And as much as people like to rag on Simon for certain things, Zombicide and Massive Darkness have amazing hero boards and they're included. I don't pay any extra. And
I don't get this. I feel like this should be included. Like that's what I was going to say. Is hero trays, like, or your player boards, they should be there.
These usually come out, 6 months to a year after a game is released when they realize that the player board, people were knocking things around or whatever here. And then
or their pre-orders
complain enough or whatever. And then they're, oh, we'll put these out. And then they arrive at retail and you pick one up kind of thing. So I agree. They should be kind of already in the box.
Well, I don't mind them doing like a game trays upgrade, but then that really makes it excess. But I find that most companies don't have anything. So then it's like, buy this upgrade. it's not really an upgrade. It's a component you forgot to make.
They're catering to a very specific clumsy type of gamer.
Yes.
that likes to hit their tables and bump things around. Or there's the gamers like myself where I'm always very neat and particular. And as soon as I got table gets bumped, I'm like, stop. Did anything move?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We're good. Everybody's got to be careful around the table. So
you would love for the organization, you would love the Reckoners, Ryan. Like that game with all the components, like
unbelievable.
It just sits there. Game Trayz, everything included. Like you pay a premium, but you get a premium product.
Yeah.
And it's not that much.
Out of the box and just put it down, bup, and you're ready to go.
I like Anna Marie's thing here. Like they already have like the game tray things for the terrain. Like was it that much more just to add in this little bit of just kind of just like little, maybe it doesn't even fit in the box. I don't know.
Yeah.
I agree. And then these darkness dice sets. So like, look, we've ragged on the dice. I'm going to keep ragging on these dice. Like get out of my face.
But at least these ones are cheaper. I agree. I wouldn't get the dice.
These are just straight up
D20s with a little symbol on the side.
The dice that come in the Magic the Gathering boxes, right? These are just a D20.
They look good, but I've got marble dice like that.
Yeah.
And I bought 5 sets for like $20. I may not have all those D5s in that same darkness color. Like, get out of here. Like this is excessive. It's like, no, like just go to your freaking store, buy some cool black dice. They won't have that like darkness symbol for one, but who cares?
Support local on the dice.
Yeah. Agreed.
And who wants this box? Like, why are you having like? How much is this box costing you? Put it in a bag in my damn box, and you're probably going to save me like an extra $5. I can't do it with these. Yeah. This is excess, like to the 10th level, and like this is worse than Simon excess in this point because like you got like the packaging in the dice. Simon gives you extra dice. So like here, jackass, you bought extra dice from us. Like we package it for retail, so you like it's. They don't do it like that, but I'm sorry. I'm getting a little bit like fired up about this just because I don't know. I feel like I'm paying half the price of that packaging, and that just bugs me a lot.
Yeah.
And if you're thinking about this, they actually have a demo on Tabletop Simulator. So if you're into that kind of thing, you can actually just try it out. Assuming demo just means you have like 1 or 2 missions or something like that, or type of thing, a couple heroes to choose from. But
it is nice when they do that, having that demo so you can give it a playthrough, see what you think.
I wonder if they have a Discord channel that I can subscribe to and then somebody can run through the demo with me.
That'd be cool.
There's a lot of companies that are starting to do that now, type of thing, where you can sign up through like a mailing list or a Discord channel or anything like that. They can just sign up for demos. I really think that's kind of a thing of the future nowadays in marketing, but at least having us being able to try this game. And the pandemic kind of escalated, or not escalated, but kind of like ramped it up faster for some of these companies to get digital implementations of games out there for people to try because there was no conventions.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
and I was lucky enough to get to check out Robotech Reconstruction. So they've actually been using some of my quotes from the first gameplay. I did that with Friday Night Games actually, which was really cool. And the game is awesome. And it's a game that normally I would have pre-ordered already, but there's one problem. It's a 3-player game. So I'm like, I just don't know when I'm going to get it played, but it like hit the sweet spot. It's like a streamlined coin game, and what was really fun. And if you guys want, you should definitely check out the Friday Night Games playthrough of that, because I won with the hardest faction because John was being nice and very friendly Canadian. I'm like, John, it was great that you helped me out. I go, but like the proper Canadian thing to do here on the vicious competitive game is to help me out, but then make sure the other guy stabs me in the back so I don't get ahead. But that's a great example. Like we played it digitally. We got to all play together. We have fun. And I think that that's going to be a new thing. And that as conventions are going to come back, people are going to go to conventions, but I do think that conventions are going to take a hit though. I mean, like I can't see conventions coming back in full force for quite a while. I still think that like Gen Con and Origins are going to do well, but a lot of companies are seeing what they can do digitally, and that audience that they can get for digital conventions and gameplay playthroughs, and you can reach so many more people.
Yeah, I was listening to. I was listening to
play a game.
Oops, sorry. That's interesting because I was listening to a podcast recently, the Team Covenant podcast, and they were talking about this, where it's like companies are in a unique position right now because there's a lot of companies that they didn't have these extra expenses of going to these conventions and still churned out pretty decent profits this past year. And so now they can actually take a look at, if I don't go to Gen Con or if I don't go to Origins and I still make my profit margins that I'm used to, well, why do I have these extra costs?
I'll tell you why. Because they're fun.
Like, well, yeah.
Fun.
I would be so sad if conventions didn't come back like the way they were. I think they are. There's just so much you get from a convention that you can't get from tabletop, like from doing from simulators.
Oh, I agree.
That just like getting to meet people and
I
play
get
with
giddy
people.
for like 3 days, 5 days ahead, being like, oh, it's 5
coming.
more days.
Yeah,
we're going.
I've done some conventions, not board game conventions. I have some great convention stories, but we together, her and I did a New York Comic-Con, and that was always a lot of fun. But I have to say this though, probably the most fun we had attending the event was the time that we went and we didn't go for the entire weekend because you're in New York City, there's lots of cool stuff. We made sure to go see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. So I'm just wondering though, are people going to realize more that like conventions should scale back a little bit, like depending on the cities that they're in, because like people would rather like go for like 1 or 2 events? Like, I don't know, but I think we're going to see an evolution in conventions, and this already started before COVID, before any of this happened. And the biggest culprit was Disney. I mean, Disney basically went to San Diego Comic-Con and said, bye guys, we're out of here. And they did D23. So they yanked Marvel out of San Diego Comic-Con. Like, what, you yanked Marvel out? Now they're back, they're doing their thing. But because of the way San Diego Comic-Con has been run, companies have been pissed off enough to just be like, we can either do our own thing or do stuff online or do this and do that. And I think that what we're going to see is more of these hybrid models come out. I mean, the company that's been doing it for a long time is Blizzard with BlizzCon, where they have the convention and then the online aspect. Now, I'll never pay for a BlizzCon ticket. I don't understand the idea of paying $35 to sit in front of my screen. I'll just see the announcements as someone live tweets it, good enough for me. But the conventions that did have some free online stuff, there was a couple of times where I wanted to sign up and be a part of it. So I do. Yeah. Or if it's cheaper, then maybe I'll do it. But I don't know. I just think that this whole model is going to change.
You're probably right. Absolutely.
And that's
some way or another.
Off topic, but hopefully
that sounds like a discussion for a whole nother different types of different series that we could spawn.
No kidding.
Well, I still want conventions to come back. So don't anything doing that is I want to go back. I mean, I almost had a chance to buy New York Comic-Con tickets. I didn't go, just not doing it this year, but I want to do Origins, want to do maybe Gen Con. Don't know if I can do them all in the same year, but at some point. But let's talk about shipping, Ryan, back on topic. I think
my goodness.
Some more excess. I feel like we're getting.
No, shipping looks like it's quite. Looks like it's quite a bit here, and there's two different waves of shipping here. Oh my goodness! So we're in Canada here. First wave shipping quote for core box, July 2022. So we're a whole year away.
Yeah.
And for us, it's they're saying $48 to $56 for that core box, and of course that's probably in American dollars.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then second wave shipping quote for the Apocalypse Adventures, which is coming in December 2022, So from July to December, so a second, and then another $45 to $55 for the Apocalypse bit for us here in Canada.
Like $90 in shipping.
Yeah, at minimum.
That's
minimum.
That's a lot to stomach.
It's harsh. And here's what I'm going to say about the shipping. So I don't understand why Canada is in the same price as Australia and Norway. That being said, also, I'd like to know where Drunagor is being built, because I feel like Australia is getting completely shafted here, unless there's some crazy economies of scale, because normally the Australian shipping and Canadian shipping should be up there in that $35 to $40 range. I don't know why we're getting this extra high cost.
I've noticed this is a trend as well. Is it that much more to go USA to Canada? Is it that much more? Is there that extra customs thing? I need to talk to somebody in the industry about that deals with shipping exclusively, because I think that I have my head wrapped around it. And then something like this.
So I do deal with that in some of my daily life. I don't work on this stuff, but basically what happens, and when you see shipping prices a little bit more economical, there's a little bit of difference, like shipping across Canada. And it could be that because of like just the size of Canada and the amount of pledges and just lower population, you do get less economies of scale. That's why it's higher price. But what happens is typically the board games will arrive in a few different places. So if they're coming to Canada, they typically arrive in Vancouver. So they'll come into Vancouver and then they're distributed. Vancouver and California are about the same distance from China. Like there's not that much of a difference. So there's definitely, I don't know, the 48 to 56, like typically, you almost see 40 to 45. I mean, actually, here's a good example. We're talking about much smaller packages here, but
I feel for the people that are classified rest of the world.
Well, I've heard some more stories about that, but yes.
152.
Yeah. So rest of the world is obviously classified as not USA, UK, Europe, Switzerland, Norway, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, China, Asia, Brazil. If you're not in one of those regions,
$300 combined. $300 to ship it to these poor places. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
they are offering, if you decide not to do the split pledge, you can do the joint pledge, like the one shot, and you'll get a shipping discount.
Okay.
I see this now. Disclaimer notice. Yes.
This is a much smaller game. It's Pulp Invasion. And this is like one box, and I've backed all these games. I still haven't played Pulp Invasion, but I got Pulp Detective, and I have to say, like, all these games are delivered before their estimated dates, which is just mind-boggling to me.
That's nice.
That never happens.
And the shipping costs, and these are small boxes, but so if you're getting like they're all in thing, United States, Canada, and Mexico. So United States and Canada are €10.
Wow.
It's €15 to Mexico.
Yeah, okay.
Wow. China, Hong Kong, and a bunch of other places are 10 to €15. Everything else is €10. So these are small card boxes. I get it. So it's easier to ship, less custom, less this, less that. But that just puts it into perspective, depending on what you're shipping and the weight. There really isn't much of a difference between Canada and other places. And like they're shipping Russia and a lot of other places that would be qualified rest of the world, and they're charging about €15. So there's definitely stuff that we don't know about, like customs, this, that, and the other thing, and dealing with shingles and like sorry, that's a little bit talking about what I do. I deal with roofing shingles. I know people that do import it into Africa, and they gotta grease the right palms to get it in without too many difficulties. So sometimes there may be stuff like that we do not know about with these larger boxes that the actual shipping and fulfillment companies actually have to do. That gets, they put in an official quote, but like it's actually someone taking a brown envelope out of port to get this into the country.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I don't know. It's just shipping is just so crazy right now.
But I'll give them credit. I think that they've done a good thing by raising the price of shipping because the cost has gone up so much, and who knows how much it's going to come back down in 2022. I think a lot of people might be going on a hope and a prayer. That being said, with these shipping costs, if they do say something like our shipping costs have gone up in 2022, I think people are going to take out pitchforks and start throwing them at the designers because these prices represent the fact that, hey, no matter what, you should not have to pay more for shipping because we're charging you the exorbitant 2021 rates and just covering everything right now.
Yeah.
But the 2-wave shipping at $100 is a lot of money. Like that is crazy.
Yeah.
And I've never seen a company doing that. But I mean, I'm getting Assassin's Creed. It cost me an extra $50 to ship it all one wave now because of COVID. So that's just the cost of everything today.
Yeah.
Simon's doing the same thing with their split, their 2-wave.
But they're not that expensive though. Simon's 2-wave was $47. The last time I paid it was $47 for 2-wave. And it was like $25 for 1-wave. So it's $20 more to get things split. I'm sure it's costing them an arm and a leg, and they're just eating a lot of the cost, or they've got some great partners that can finagle a few things because they're Simon.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it doesn't seem unreasonable entirely that the cost has gone up by that much, but it's just a big pill to swallow that it's $50 and $50.
Definitely a big pill to swallow.
I also like the fact that they say it's estimated shipping costs and shipping will be charged at time of shipment. There is the possibility that this could go down.
Yes.
So they are just letting everyone know that's what they expect. So I don't know. I don't like it, but I really appreciate the honesty and the way that they're looking at this in the 2021 perspective, instead of a lot of people that looked at a lot of stuff as a hope and a prayer, like we're going to get this done, no problem. And then they're like, oh my God, we just got an extra $100,000 in charges.
I definitely appreciate knowing what it's going to be, as opposed to like, oh, and now there's an extra whatever you have to pay before you can get your game. Like I definitely.
Yeah, I like knowing the worst case scenario.
Still don't like that it's that much. Still hard to swallow, but yes, I appreciate that they show it.
Yeah, you have to factor it in on your decision. So
yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've covered everything about Chronicles of Drunagor. Does anyone have anything to add to this discussion?
No, I think we've done
a good job.
Thorough here.
Who's pledging? Who's pledging?
Before we get there, there's one thing I want to say. I think that this campaign is like 50% value and 50% excess. I think this campaign almost shoots right down the middle into what you're getting. There's a lot of value in there, but there's a lot of stuff that you can be like, nah. There's a lot of it fairly excessive elements.
Yes.
And the fact that you can actually tick the stuff and say, no, is nice, right? They don't all pile it up. Yeah,
I love that about Game Found. You can just choose what you want. Yeah. And they can try to bundle things together, just show you that you're saving, quote unquote, saving money.
Yeah.
I'm going to be so it's interesting because the last couple of times I've not been back in the game, but I am actually the last 3 out of the 4 of these I think that we're now on. I've not been back in the game, or have been going in for the pledge manager. I'm going to be back in this game. Like,
okay.
There's right now I put my finger because I'm a completionist. I put everything all in, and this is why we have this conversation, because I'm partially reformed. So I'm almost thinking now that I might decide to drop from the all-in reprint and maybe do the Hero and the Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah.
I think I might streamline it just a little bit and then pick up a few add-ons. I want to see what this big new pledge that, we're talking about it. So I want to reiterate that I've heard it's coming. It's rumors. Maybe it won't happen, but because a lot of conversation happens on Facebook, Reddit, Board Game Geek, it's all over the place. It's hard to keep track of it. But I will definitely be getting a version of this game. I like the delivery date in July 2022. I fully believe they're going to pull it off.
Yes.
And I think the core pledge, just the core box with the minis, is something that I could potentially really like. And the more that we've had this discussion, the more I'm like, maybe don't go the junky pledge. Maybe just get the reasonable pledge.
Yeah. We are, so don't get me wrong. I really would like to get this game. But I'm on the opposite side of you, like you just said, that you haven't backed many of these things lately. And I've backed all of the things lately. Or we have, not me. But my goodness, do I want to get this? Absolutely. So we will continue to watch this campaign and see what other options might pop up.
Yeah.
Because just in our conversation here in the last hour, it's really made me want it more than I originally had thought. I don't know, because and
we've
so many of the games I've backed
dungeon
are
crawlers
so
coming,
similar.
like similar style games that are on their way. So
yeah, it's not like I've been backing a bunch of euros and here's this wicked dungeon crawl. I'd be all over it, right? But I've been getting all the monster everything stuff. So
here's what you got to remember: when it shows up, if you're not sure when you're going to play it, on the Facebook Marketplace,
out the door.
Market fee. It doesn't have to go, but sometimes you'll put it up for sale and you might be like, wow, this guy's going to give me $100 more than I paid for the game and I haven't opened it yet.
That's right. So we're not saying yes or no. Full disclosure, want it. Yes, I want to back it. Will I? I don't know if I can.
Right. I think you'd be good at the core. For what you're telling me, I think if you can find a way to make it work or decide to let go of a couple games in the collection that don't get played enough, you might be able to afford that core pledge. Like, part of me saying about that, like, I'd be all in on the junkie pledge. If Wild Ascent had arrived and I'd sold my core box, I'd be all in on the junkie pledge because I'd be like, I just sold it. I got my money back. I can spend it. Like,
yeah.
Take that from one game, put it into another game.
Yeah. So that's, where we're sitting. I'd like to, not sure if we're gonna. So we'll wait, see if different options pop up or not, or what happens.
Ryan?
Cool. Okay. So I think that I'm definitely on the base game pledge. I think I'm definitely on that one. It looks really, really cool. I'm liking everything that it's offering. And then I've also just temporarily, I think I'm good. If I do the core box, which I think I'm 99.9% that I'm going to go core box pledge, I want to add on one of these extra expansions, especially the Rise of the Undead Dragon expansion for the core box. That thing looks absolutely amazing. I FOMO hit me. I don't know if I'm going to hit it be able to get it at retail. So I think I'm just going to add it on during the campaign because, just why not? I need another badass dragon just sitting around the house.
Yeah, it's not even a competition between any of those packs. Like the dragon is by far the coolest one.
Yeah.
So
I'm not really sure if I really want to do the apocalypse. I know that it's adding on the big, massive, brand new adventure to it, but it was the fact that I'm like Rob. I would want to have the minis, as well. And I don't know if the psychology or my brain is wired differently than everybody else, or where our brains are wired. But I can't justify having the standees for the bosses. So, but I'm definitely going to go core box. Core box looks tremendous.
Well,
it does.
That's why I said, like, I saw this, I missed it. I fully went on like the full junkie pledge, just adding everything on. And I was like, we're having this conversation and I'm going to be brought back down to reality. So I've got some games that are on myself to sell. And I think whatever goes out the door and other expenses are really going to decide what I get. But I think the core box has just got a ton of value. And it even looks better than what I saw originally. I don't remember this core box pledge looking as good as it does now. Maybe it's just the game found interface compared to the Kickstarter one. It just does a much better job of featuring everything, but
it does. Really, it does. presentation of how they can lay it out for us.
I think if I'd seen it more of it last time, I probably wouldn't have just decided to skip it. I would have been like, I can just get the core box. But that was like 2 years ago when it was all in or nothing. And I've learned my lesson. No longer all in or nothing.
I know. I feel like this is a big step in my evolution of crowdfunding thing. Just getting just the core box. What? This is the second. This is the second one because I only just did just the core pledge for the X-Men Marvel United.
Yes, but we talked about that. That has got like 18 or 20 expansion, and now if you buy it all, it's almost like $1,200 Canadian for what is essentially a
children's game. The most expensive children's game ever.
And it's funny. I think it's great. I think it does very well. And I actually considered picking it up again if I could go down to the US, since they've been liquidating it in Walmart now for $6 for the core box.
Yeah, I've seen that. $6, $8.
Yeah, for the core, $6 for the core box, it can sit on my son's shelf for a few years. I would not care. It's like I'd play it with him eventually. It's fine.
Wow.
It goes to show you, one of the things that we were talking about, and this is off topic, but for fans of the series a little bit, I said that I thought that Marvel United might not keep its value. I think this is going to show you that the game is going to have a tough time keeping its high price point to the point that you'll be able to resell it in 5 to 10 years for what you paid for it. I just think that it's not going to age well. I think when people age out of it, they're going to age out of it hard, and it's going to be like, you want it gone.
Anna Marie's been painting our minis, so we'll just have them sitting around the room here probably.
I know. Did you get the whole thing?
No, we had the core box that we got, I think, at Walmart.
At Walmart, yeah.
And then we backed the X-Men with the Guardians expansion, and we got the mat and whatever else came with it.
Yeah, I think you got a solid set. I know Ryan's got a nice set too. I think that people with a nice set are going to be good. It's going to be those people that have that like $1,200 set, and it's just like that one point where you're like, I spent $1,200 on this game. Yeah. And my kids look at me and are like, Dad, this game sucks.
No, you should go, shh. No one needs to know how much it is. I really hope my wife is not listening to this show.
but that is the entire thing. You didn't do that for the X-Men, so you're okay.
Nope, I did not do it for the X-Men.
You got a very good value on the original one, which I paid for. So if you got a little bit of stuff, you're well off. That was the new price of getting everything all in. One of my buddies calculated it all out and was like, this is insane. So it's going to be those people that backed it on the X-Men all in, $1,200 are going to be like, when your kid is like 13, go, Dad, I'm too old for this game and it's not good. That's when you're going to be like, oh no.
And you got a refrigerator box full of expansions sitting in your closet.
That's going to be, and then it's like, and then your wife's like, wow, because not necessarily the wife, but it'll be your partner. Will be like, why is this still here? And you're like, because I can't sell it.
There's nothing I can do.
Nothing we can do.
We're not throwing this out.
No.
Well, this definitely ran a little bit longer than I planned, but I think we had a really good, a lot of fun conversation. Hopefully all of our viewers enjoyed this as well. So I'm going to let our guests start with their outro as we get out of here, but we'll definitely be back at some point in the future. I don't know what the next big campaign coming is, but we do have He-Man, which we'll definitely be talking about in September.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So take it away, Ryan. Yeah, that one's probably going to get me for all the monies.
Yeah, all the monies.
Sure. So yeah, I've been Ryan from the Card Board Conjecture Podcast and Bridge City Board Gamers here in Saskatoon. Catch our podcasts that release twice a week. Saturdays, you can get Card Board Conjecture, our flagship podcast. And every Wednesday is What You've Been Playing Wednesdays, where you can catch a whole bunch of Canadian content creators, including Dice and Dragons and the Meeple Dungeon that are featured on that show as well. catch it all on the podcast. And we're also on Twitter and Instagram at BC Board Gamers, not British Columbia Board Gamers, Bridge City Board Gamers, so BC Board Gamers.
Yeah, and we've been Rob and
Anna Marie,
and we are the Meeple Dungeon, and we're on Twitter, YouTube, and we are guesting on Ryan's podcast there, Card Board Conjecture, every Wednesday. And we'll be back here with Jason and Ryan shortly, I'm assuming.
Yes, most definitely. This has been a lot of fun, and we are going to keep this going. So thanks again, everyone. And just to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And since I'm on a smaller screen, I don't know where I'm pointing. So somewhere down there to make sure that YouTube will let you know when our next video is released. And then also down below in the video description, you'll find links to all of our social media feeds, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So if you'd like to see pictures of Julie and I playing any of these games that we discussed that actually show up, they'll be on those feeds. You can also find a link to multizone.ca down there, our great Canadian game store. Click that link, get 10% off your next purchase. And it's a great way to support the channel because a portion of that is returned to us. And then popping up in front of me will be, in front of us will be links to some of our previously released videos. The one on, I think I'm backwards here, but in any case, one of them will be to our most recent release, and the other one will take you to the Kickstarter Excess or Value playlist. Listen to all our other great conversations that we had, and maybe find some games that you should late pledge or others that you should run away from as fast as you can. And don't forget, everyone, to keep playing games.